It was evident that the National Diaspora Day 2025 celebrations achieved far more than its set objectives, with accolades from special solidarity messages, historic African diaspora discussions, celebrity interviews, and themed discussion, all centered on how best to optimize the enormous potentials of Nigerian diaspora for national development and growth. In their special solidarity messages, Almaz Negash, founder of African Diaspora Network, His Imperial Majesty Dr. Greg Nnamdi Oputa, Obi Oputa III of Abo, Delta State, and the GMD of ACO Group, Alfred Okoigun, all praised and appreciated NIDCOM on their strive in bridging the gap and building trust between the Nigerian diasporas and the federal government in developmental initiatives, details shortly. Also on the menu is the Diaspora Champions panel discussions that centered on the role of diaspora to national development, moderated by Thelma Eki Osholanke of the Nigerian Office for Philanthropy, details soon. That is not all. Interesting revelations from our diaspora role models, featuring diasporas making waves on the globe anchored by NIDCOM Chairman CEO, as well as an international broadcaster. All these and more for your viewing delight. And of course, do not forget our complimentary segments of Health Tips by Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, ANPA, and our Diaspora of the Moment. This is your favorite show, The Diaspora. I'm Juliana Vincent Yakubu. Please stay. Welcome back. Now, let's begin with our special solidarity messages from our NIDCOM partners and associates.
All across the world, from Lagos to London, Abuja to Atlanta, Enugu to Nairobi, Nigerians are making history. Our doctors, engineers, academics, creative and entrepreneurs are distinguishing themselves globally. But what makes this Nigerian diaspora truly formidable is not just their excellence, it is their connection to home.
The opportunity for the diaspora, especially for the Nigerian diaspora, to come back to their home country, to invest, to give what they can, they must also have a conducive ecosystem that will enable them to do this.
Diasporans have a lot of economic power. In past and recent figures, the amount of capital transferred from various diasporan countries to Nigeria is in excess of 20 billion and growing. This is very good. And our main goal is to create a formal channel of investment into Nigeria, and this could create jobs and help businesses and bridge the economic gap.
Nigerians in diaspora is no less dynamic. Across medicine, finance, engineering, entertainment, academia, and beyond, Nigeria continues to distinguish themselves globally. Their successes carry our identity, and their skills, ideas, and capital are part of the solution many of the challenges we face at home today.
The historic African Diaspora Champions panel discussions on the role of African diaspora to national development came up strong.
The idea of philanthropy, when you talk about philanthropy, people think it's always for the affluent or for high net worth individuals. But what we have done with NIDCOM is look for ways that every Nigerian who wants to support development in Nigeria can do so.
The concept is to create a global African economic renaissance and an economic revival. And so we've been doing that. This year we will be in Durban in September. We have delegates from all across the African continent coming, and I'm bringing into Africa about 140 people that's coming to Africa this year, including the Reverend Al Sharpton, quite a number of other celebrities and business leaders, investors, and the like. So that's just a little bit about what.
And one of the the things that we do through our Trinity Girls Network program. We empower young girls to become strong ladies by empowering them with the tools they need to succeed. So how do we do that, and how do we connect those dots as it relates to the diaspora in Africa? Currently, we have a running organization in Zambia, and we are starting here as well in Nigeria, where we connect the dots with the young ladies, training them how to be entrepreneurs, how to take what it is that they have in their hands and be able to help them build an online enterprise.
I went to the U.S. at 15, ended up playing American football, got a scholarship to University of Central Florida in Orlando, and ended up playing 6 years in the National Football League, which is the professional level. Once I retired, I started a business to really support minority businesses and help them grow in the U.S. What I found out was 29 million businesses in the U.S. are considered sole proprietors. I mean, they don't have employees. Of that 29 million, 4 million are black-owned sole proprietors. Of the 4 million black-owned, Nigerian businesses are also included. They don't separate you by culture. Everyone's under the umbrella of black. We were trying to grow our business at that time when we were hiring Indians and Filipinos online. We were so frustrated because you couldn't talk to anybody because everything was done online. Well, I started calling home and said, you know what, I'm looking for people to do this kind of work for me. So I started hiring young Nigerian professionals to do the work that I needed done. Everything from bookkeeping, video editing, graphic design, and our business was growing so fast.
And now the hand is near, and so I face the final curtain, my friend.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Thank you. Give me everything I need. No one to tell me to say, over 70 years old, the oldest member of the group. And that's Jamel. Thank you. That's the African American dance group, Jamel Gaines Creative Outlets.
And now it is time for the celebrity interview with the Right Worshipful Abigail Marshall Katong, Lord Mayor of Leeds, Khadija Haliru, Councillor, Town of Ingersoll, Canada, and Professor Sarki Abdulkadir Abba, Director, Urological Research, Northwestern University, Chicago, USA. Watch this.
Can you explain to us what was so special about the Lord Mayor of Leeds that she had this particular award? How did she stand out? How did you make that decision?
Well, number one, she's the first, as she said, and I hope she has time to share more of her experiences. And beyond that, the Lord Mayor of Leeds does a lot of things in Nigeria to give back. She's one of those Nigerians that have succeeded, but still look back home and then trains younger women and empowers them. So she's a great role model. We appreciate you, Lord Mayor.
Let's start, Lord Mayor, with you. What created this ability for you to become the first, and explain why it was so exceptional in Leeds?
I would say hard work and making sure that representation is so important that people can know why and what we need to do, especially when it comes to setting policies that matter to ourselves.
I'm first born of 20 kids to my late father, and I was very proud to build my leadership skills from home. I also saw my parents give back in our community as a large family, really contributing to that community, and I learned the power of service.
In my case, it was based on seeing a need. My faith teaches that when we see something that is not right, that we do something about it. I look at it as that's my community and I have an obligation. My children were raised there. And so it started from looking at it was about education. I was able to see the disparity in the schools, where the affluent kids has more resources, whereas in the black and brown community, in the school that my daughter went to, uptown, there was only 2 computers for a grade. And I was like, as Nigerians, we value education. How do we expect kids to make it? How do we dismantle the school-to-prison pipeline without education?
So when I immigrated to Canada, I was told that if you do not have Canadian experience or Canadian education, you have to go and flip burgers or clean toilets. But I said, not me. Because I came to Canada with a banking experience, with a degree, and so there was no way I was going to be washing toilets. And so what I did was, I went into the banks, because I had banking experience, and I went to ask for a job. And I got a job within 1 month as a new immigrant. Now that sets the tone for me to be like, look, there's opportunities here, but I define my destiny. I'm not going to allow my society to define my destiny for me. And so within 6 months of being a new immigrant, I sat on 2 boards, because I think giving back is so important. If you want to serve your community, you have to. If you want to be in this political position, service is key. And I think everyone on this panel has said it.
Dr. Abike, what is the thread that you see running through these politicians?
The Nigerian energy, which Nigerian women in particular have. But I want to ask you, maybe this will be the last round of questions. Sure. You are Nigerians. I believe that the narrative is changing because of people like you, excelling and succeeding in what you're doing. So what would be your advice and what would you say about that narrative about being Nigerian?
As a Nigerian, our resilience, our perseverance, and our hard work is our excellence in terms of everything that we do. So even in the face of challenges, one thing I know about being Nigerians, we stand up tall and we face it head up with the values God has blessed us with.
There are times you're abroad, you don't get jobs, you apply for work. You have something in you that you can offer. A lot of people don't go into what they already know because they're looking for that cleanness in what they decide to do. I decided to bottle the first Nigerian stew in a jar in 2016, and that gave me global recognition.
I've always believed that there's something either in the land, in the water, in the hair, in Nigeria that gave us that confidence. I believe as a Nigerian that we know we can do anything that we put our minds into.
Honestly, people say Nigeria they carry last. I would say Nigeria they carry second. We have to be number 1, honestly. But on a serious note, I think that it's a resilient spirit. We're hard workers. Like, we grew up hearing the person that came, if you came second or third, we grew up hearing that the person that came first does not have two hands. So being number one is just the Nigerian spirit, and I think it's in all of us.
Let's take a short break. The Diaspora continues shortly. Welcome back. Now, it is time for the theme panel discussions by renowned diasporas, Professor Hawa Ibrahim, international scholar in residence, Wellesley Center for Women, USA, Voke Ogwe, President Joe Biden's award recipient on STEM, Professor Hakeem Tijani, Morgan State University, Maryland, USA, Professor Adedeji Badru, AB International Consulting Services, Ohio, USA, and Dr. Adebayo Akintobi of Global Health Charity and Training Foundation. It is unmissable.
I'm going to start with Professor Badu. So please give us some ideas, give us some concrete ideas on how to move forward, okay?
We are very delighted to be here today. It's a great opportunity to come back home and give back to the nation. I'm particularly delighted about the theme of this panel. I'm an industrial and systems engineering professor, and we thrive on optimization.
Okay.
And optimization, by definition, talks about how to achieve specific goals in the shortest amount of time and the lowest expenditure of resources.
People that thought I'm the craziest tenured full professor 2011 at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, living a salary after tax $7,000 to earn 482,000 naira, that I'm crazy. But guess what? I wasn't. I was able to establish, academy, establish programs, save a lot of money, and at the end of the day, one of the greatest joy for me is that in 2020, when I returned, a new office was created for me at Morgan State University that I had joined way back in 2006.
For me, I would say that one of the ways that we're going to optimize formidable diaspora potentials for national development and growth is by building trust. Right. It's one thing to call everyone and say, come, but it's also another thing for you to make them feel comfortable. My husband and I have been out of this country. I have been out for over 21 years, but of course I've come back, gone back and forth. But since the last time I came was 8 years ago, so you can understand that apprehension. If it wasn't for this award, if it wasn't for knowing that I have a trust of people like ARCO's GMD, Mr. Alfred Okoigun and his team, and also with the platform that Honorable Dr. Abike Dabiri has established, that trust to even show up won't be there. But I've been so inspired just hearing everything people have said, understanding that there is so much work to do.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's what I would say.
So one of the things I'm very passionate about is, as a technologist, how do we use technology to solve everyday problems? And one of the things I'm really, in my current role, I operate as a Chief Digital Officer, or what you would call Chief Innovation Officer. We take tech, like AI. One of the solutions we're trying to solve today is healthcare. I lost my mom because of the wrong diagnosis, and I wanted to solve that problem. So right now, we're looking at how do we take technology, and I really believe that this platform is going to enable us to consolidate. I keep saying three things. When we consolidate our ideas together and we collaborate, we can actually co-create and build something truly amazing. And I think this is the start of something phenomenal.
I'm so grateful to the ACO group. I'm so grateful to the Honorable Debiri as well. Just about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, myself and a bunch of my colleagues who graduated from UCH in 1991, 75% of us are out of the country. And we decided it was time for us to give back. We started what is called the Global Health Charity and Training Foundation. We had our first multidisciplinary mission trip to Nigeria in June of this year at the Olabisi Ombanje University Teaching Hospital, which is a 400-bed hospital in Shagamu. We had 50 physicians that were part of this collaboration. Orthopedics, cardiothoracic surgery, urology, general surgery, obstetrics, cardiology, gastroenterology, name it. We were able to conduct 80 surgeries at the end of the 1 week. But the key is this: we also conducted community health outreaches in 4 locations in Ogun State, in the Peru, Shagamu, Owu, and Ake in Abeokuta, where we screened 2,000 citizens of Ogun State for high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, colon cancer screening, prostate cancer screening, hepatitis.
Up next is our health tip segment with Amper Doctors.
Sickle cell disease is an inherited blood cell disorder, specifically red blood cell. So in your body, you have white blood cells that help prevent infection. You have platelets that help prevent injury, to help you to heal. And then you have red blood cells, which supply oxygen throughout your body. And a person without sickle cell disease, their red blood cells are perfectly round and flexible, so they can move through the body without any issues. A person with sickle cell disease, the red blood cells are sickled or crescent shape, given the name of the disease, and they have problems traveling through different...
Now to our diaspora of the moment.
Our diaspora of the moment is Tope Lawani. Tope Lawani serves on EMPEA's board of directors. Mr. Lawani, a Nigerian national, is a co-founder and managing partner of Helios Investment Partners and has more than 20 years of principal investment experience. Helios is an Africa-focused private investment firm operating a family of funds and their related co-investment entities. Aggregating more than $3 billion in capital commitments, he was a principal in the San Francisco and London offices of TPG Capital, a leading global private equity firm managing approximately $70 billion in capital. At TPG, Mr. Lawani had a lead role in the execution of over $10 billion worth of closed venture capital and leveraged buyout investments, including the acquisitions of Burger King Corp., Debenhams plc, J. Crew Group, and Scottish and Newcastle Retail. He also serves as a member of the Harvard Law School Dean's Advisory Board and has served on the Overseers Visiting Committee of the Harvard Business School and the MIT Open Causeway Advisory Board. Mr. Lawani received a BS in Chemical Engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a Juris Doctorate cum laude from Harvard Law School, and an MBA from Harvard Business School. He is fluent in Yoruba, a widely spoken West African language. Congratulations, Mr. Tope Lawani. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
This has been the Diaspora for this week. Keep a date with us for another interesting episode of your favorite show, The Diaspora. I remain Juliana Vincent Yakubu. Stay positive.